A Falcon 9 rocket carrying 4 astronauts cut through the night sky on Sunday, ushering in the historic return to a greater American role in space exploration. SpaceX's Crew 1 launched at 7:27 p.m. with American astronauts Mike Hopkins, Victor Glover and Shannon Walker and Japanese astronaut Soichi Noguchi strapped inside the Crew Dragon capsule that will take them to the International Space Station. "The view is beautiful. That was one heck of a ride," Hopkins told the command center. It's the first operational flight of Elon Musk's crewed commercial spacecraft, and only the second time NASA has launched astronauts from American soil since the end of the Space Shuttle program in 2011. The first was in May, a test flight with astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken, who rode the same model capsule to the ISS, stayed for 63 days and splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico in August. Iffy weather and a problem sealing the door of the capsule threatened to delay the launch until Wednesday, but in the end, the mission prevailed. To the delight of thousands of spectators lining the coast, the nighttime launch lit up the sky over Brevard County, where astronaut launches were once a regular occurrence. David Arabi came from Louisiana, full circle from when he witnessed the final shuttle launch. "This is the next step," he said. "We had to be here." Mitch Breesiel came from Alabama. He said it's important for humanity that America again be sending up crewed missions. "One day, we'll put a man on Mars," he said. The launch from Pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center is a major milestone in NASA's Commercial Crew program and for SpaceX, the first commercial enterprise to put humans in orbit. Benji Reed, SpaceX's Director of Crew Mission Management, said it revives regular crewed launches to the space station from the United States and a continual Crew Dragon presence at the station. It's also a crucial step in NASA's Artemis program that aims to put astronauts on the moon by 2024 and, then, eventually on Mars. The last time someone visited the moon was during NASA's Apollo 17 mission in 1972. That's ultimately what we're trying to achieve here, and because of what's happening today, all of these things are going to be possible in the future, NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine said. The 4 astronauts will now spend 27 hours in space before reaching the station at about 11 p.m. Monday. They'll stay there 6 months, joining Kate Rubins, Sergei Rizhikov and Sergei Kudzverchkov, who arrived in October by the Soyuz MS-17 spacecraft before splashing back down off the coast of Florida. They named their capsule Resilience in recognition of the trying year 2020 has been amid a global coronavirus pandemic that's claimed more than 246,000 American lives and national unrest during a contentious presidential election. "We felt like, if the name of our vehicle could give a little hope, a little inspiration, put a smile on people's faces, then that is definitely what we wanted to do," said Hopkins, an Air Force colonel who commands the mission. Over the next 14 months, SpaceX plans to launch at least 7 times to the space station, some with astronauts and some just cargo, Reed said. The next group of astronauts has already been selected to pilot the Crew 2 mission, which is scheduled to launch next spring using the very capsule Hurley and Behnken splashed down in, and the booster recovered from Crew 1. NASA is looking to the Crew 1 mission to end the country's reliance on Russia to access the ISS. Since 2006, NASA has spent $4 billion buying seats on the Soyuz rocket. They go for about $80 million a pop. Musk was forced to stay away from the launch because he tweeted about testing positive for COVID-19. Not just SpaceX, but NASA doesn't intend to rely solely on SpaceX or want to be the only entity doing launches. It wants to be one customer of many customers, sending people and cargo into space, and wants to choose from numerous companies all competing against each other. The near future may also see regular citizens, not just professional astronauts, be able to go to space if they can afford it. "I believe 20 years from now, we're going to look back at this time as a major turning point in our exploration and utilization of space," said Phil McAllister, Director of Commercial Spaceflight for NASA for the last 15 years. It's not an exaggeration to state that with this milestone, NASA and SpaceX have changed the historical arc of human space transportation. There were a few tense moments during the countdown as teams reopened a hatch to the capsule, suspecting a leak. But the problem was quickly fixed, and the door was resealed. Then, just minutes before liftoff, the command center told the crew, "We're honored to have you as our crew as we begin operational missions to the ISS. Have an amazing trip, and know that we are all for one." Hopkins called back to all the people at NASA and SpaceX, "By working together through these difficult times, you've inspired the nation, the world. And now it's time for us to do our part. Crew 1 for all." While on the ISS, the crew will perform experiments to study space's effect on astronauts' brain function, organs and cardiovascular health using engineered heart tissues, as well as how food affects health in space. The crew will test technology for an under-development spacesuit that can regulate temperature by removing heat in the form of water that then evaporates into space, and microbes that can break down rock that NASA theorizes could be used to build future lunar or Martian bases. On the Space Coast was expecting as many as 500,000 people to watch the launch in person, despite the worsening global pandemic. NASA didn't discourage them and only advised spectators to wear masks and social distance. The astronauts had been in quarantine with their families for several weeks. Rafael Santoni and Nancy Santoni Ortiz drove up from Sunrise the night before and slept in their car, a Tesla, at Kirk Point Park across from a launch pad in Titusville. The president of the South Florida Tesla Owners Club, Santoni, is a regular visitor to the area for SpaceX launches. "This is no longer a test flight," he said. "The Dragon capsule has been certified. And now it's for humans going to the ISS from here." How it began. The Commercial Crew program began with $270 million divvied up by the White House among 4 companies, including $75 million to the scrappy upstart SpaceX and another $90 million to Boeing, who would become SpaceX's biggest competitor. That's who it came down to, SpaceX and Boeing. In 2014, when NASA tapped them to build capsules, the Crew Dragon to go with SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket and the CST-100 Starliner to top United Launch Alliance's Atlas V. NASA wanted to launch the first crew by 2017, but cuts to federal funding and problems from both companies caused delays. Most recently, SpaceX's Crew Dragon exploded during an uncrewed test in 2019, and that same year Boeing had to cut short a test flight of Starliner to the ISS. But SpaceX got there first when it launched Hurley in Behnken.